Sarah and Matt, go ahead and take it away.
Great. Thanks, Craig. And thanks for hosting us today with you and LandGate. Hi, everyone. It's really great to be here. Again, my name is Sarah Ford. I'm the Chief Forestry Officer with Forest Carbon Works in Chestnut Carbon, and I lead our natural resources team, which is comprised of foresters spread regionally across the country. It also is comprised of our forest inventory program, and I also manage our operations for our forest restoration or tree planting program called Chestnut Restore. I'm based out of Northern Vermont, where I've been practicing forestry for going on 2 decades now. Joining me today here, we have Matt Olson, who also is based out of Northern Vermont. Matt is one of our membership advisors on our sales team, which is focused on enrolling landowners in our carbon program for private forest owners, which we're going to tell you about today in our presentation. So for today's presentation, we're going to give you some background about who we are, an overview of carbon offsets, market demand, and access. We also are going to describe how carbon projects are developed, talk about our sales process, our contract terms, and then lastly, we will talk about just some of the financial benefits of carbon projects, in addition to highlighting some of the members that we have in our carbon program, which we call Forest Carbon Works Conserve. We plan to leave plenty of time at the end of the presentation today for questions, so please do post questions as you have them in the Q&A, like Jordan mentioned, or save them for the end for us to answer live. So again, we are Forest Carbon Works, which is part of Chestnut Carbon. At Forest Carbon Works, we develop improved forest management projects, which are often referred to as IFM. And what these are projects that promote forest carbon storage and sequestration when compared to surrounding forests. Also at Forest Carbon Works, what we're really doing is working to provide landowners access to carbon markets, diversified revenue streams, which is providing a means of forest conservation and protecting family legacies. To date, we've enrolled landowners and properties in our forest carbon program in more than 33 states. We were founded in 2016 under EP Carbon, which is another carbon company that's focused on international carbon project development. In 2022, we joined Chestnut Carbon under Kimmeridge, which is an alternative asset manager in the energy sector. At Chestnut, our main focus is on restoring native biodiverse forests on marginal pasture land through our afforestation project and program in the southeastern United States, which is where it's currently focused. Under this program, we've succeeded in planting more than 10 million trees thus far across more than 17,000 acres in 4 states and are growing. So at FCW, or Forest Carbon Works, and Chestnut, we have a really strong team with more than 3 decades of combined carbon project experience, including working in multiple registries and markets, developing many projects. At FCW, our team is a remote-based team with more than 50 members currently spread across 17 states and also growing. We're using a proprietary carbon inventory land evaluation tool to streamline costs and maximize efficiency, while also working with landowners, stakeholders, and communities in the areas where we're based to really, again, promote conservation, biodiversity, and also deliver quality net zero solutions. So something that's really important to recognize, I think, with what we're doing with forest carbon markets and conservation is really the potential our forests have for carbon offsetting. More than 1/3 of our forests, of our country, is forested, with many of these forests being highly productive, as you can see by the map shown here on the screen. The darker green areas on the map are reflective of areas that have higher amounts of live tree biomass and therefore are more productive, offsetting more carbon from the atmosphere. Also, with our forests, more than 60% of forests in the US are privately owned, and 39% of these are family owned, meaning that this still also represents significant potential for carbon offsetting. In addition, our family forest ownership demographic is aging, with the average forest owner being 70 years old, meaning that these forests really are at risk for things like generational transfer, parcelization, development, and really just increased fragmentation. therefore, carbon markets really are presenting just this increased opportunity in providing this for financing long-term forest conservation, keeping forests, in addition to securing our forest legacies. So again, really important and significant when we think about the fact that forests in the US are offsetting around 16% of our annual US emissions. So while our carbon markets are rewarding forest owners for conservation and sequestering and capturing carbon, there also are different varieties of carbon credits. Two types of these credits are removals and reductions or avoidance credits. Removal credits are those that are generated from or come from the actual capture and removal of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. This frequently is from things like tree planting or reforestation activities. Avoidance credits are from activities that reduce planned greenhouse gas emissions through things like changes in management or crediting standing stock in a forest for planned change in management over a certain duration of time. Frequently, removals credits are seen as more valuable to buyers because they are accounting for and crediting the actual capture and removal of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So the carbon market is not only attractive to forest owners as an opportunity to get paid for conservation, it's also a tool, a really important tool for companies to help meet their net zero goals. There's starting to be an increased amount of research that's actually showing how companies and corporates that are using carbon credits are actually reducing emissions faster, and that even with those that are buying higher quality credits are having greater amounts of emissions reductions. There was a study published by Trove, which is now actually MSCI, last year, where they surveyed more than 4,000 companies on their emissions reductions. And they found that these companies that were purchasing offsets were actually reducing emissions twice as fast than those that were not using offsets. And also that of those companies that were using offsets, the ones that were purchasing higher integrity and higher priced credits were reducing emissions more than those that were purchasing lower value credits. So really just speaking to the different breeds, flavor, quality, and types of carbon credits and uses out there in the market. So with more companies that are committing to emissions reductions goals, what we're also seeing is significant growth in the carbon market. The chart that you see here is showing how the value of the voluntary market has really just increased substantially and cumulatively over the last 20 years to now a cumulative value of more than $10 billion. Additionally, what we're also seeing to go with that are record high carbon prices, specifically in the forest carbon offset category, nature-based solutions. Just last year, we saw improved forest management carbon credit pricing increased by upwards of 25%, which is really significant and really supporting this side of the market and the business. Also, just from 2020 to 2021, we saw transactions in the carbon market double. So again, just speaking to the increase in volume and interest and investment in carbon markets. So our nature-based solutions really play a critical and crucial role in mitigating climate change by just utilizing our existing natural ecosystems to both capture and store carbon dioxide from the atmosphere like they have been doing for millions of years. And so these approaches, such as reforestation, wetland restoration, improved agriculture, forest conservation, are helping to mitigate climate change, but also have many co-benefits that go with them. These include things like enhanced biodiversity, water quality improvement, controlling soil erosion, and supporting local communities and providing climate resilience. Additionally, nature-based solutions are scalable and considered by many to be more scalable than technological alternatives, things like direct air capture as one example, that is still a developing technology, while effective, but very costly and hard to implement at scale. Nature-based solutions like forest carbon offsets, are a tool that we have available now and can be widely applied and implemented across large areas, really without the same financial barriers or technological barriers like some of the newer developing technologies, with forest carbon credits being one important category of these. So there are a wide range of carbon credits on the market of varying qualities and values, like I have alluded to a bit already. Frequently, lower quality credits are of lower value and price. At Forest Carbon Works, one of our primary roles as a developer is really to maintain quality and integrity with our forest carbon credits. And so we are doing this by ensuring that our credits meet these rigorous quality standards, like you see listed out here. The first of which is really confirming that our projects and our credits are additional, meaning that landowners and forests that we work with really truly are at risk of harvest, and that the carbon project that we're working in is protecting the forest in addition to reducing harvest levels. Secondly, we also maintain permanence and durability within our program and the credits that we're generating via our long-term commitment that we do require for enrollment in our program, which is in turn supporting co-benefits like soil and water protection, wildlife habitat, biodiversity protection. We are conservative with our measurements, ensuring we're not over-crediting, definitely not double counting. We actually only issue removal credits, which are based on the incremental growth of the forest. And then lastly, at Forest Carbon Works, all of our projects are third-party verified, which is a really important component of a high-quality project. We're only using approved methodologies that were peer-reviewed, have been tested for a very long time, and also are approved by carbon registries. So another way in which we are working as a developer in the carbon space and working to improve market access. Carbon markets, as probably many are well aware, have really not been widely available, historically not being available to landowners owning less than many thousands of acres. Our program at Forest Carbon Works is available to landowners owning as little as 40 acres, which really has opened up access to private forest owners across the United States. Our program also is available in every state in the continental US. We offer competitive payments. We have a revenue share option, which Matt is going to go into in more detail shortly here. And because of our longer duration contracts, that does yield these higher value credits, especially with all of the co-benefits attached to them. That means that we're able to just offer increased and premium payments for our landowners. Carbon markets and projects are very complicated, and getting into them can be very overwhelming. We manage all aspects of this, all aspects of the enrollment process for our landowners at no cost. And we also continue to support landowners or our members over the duration of the life of the project. So even after they have enrolled. We also take a really individualized approach at Forest Carbon Works, with each landowner being connected to their own membership advisor and their own regional forester as well. On the credit sales side, we're really selective of our credit buyers, only choosing those that really have proven commitments to emissions reductions and are planning to use and retire the credits that we are selling to them. And then lastly, we have a really experienced team that excels at navigating all of those complexities of carbon markets and project development, everything from design to measurement, reporting to credit issuance. So like I mentioned right in the very beginning, the forest carbon program that we have at Forest Carbon Works for improved forest management is called Forest Carbon Works Conserve. And again, in this program, we manage all aspects of the development process. So what that means is that we're managing the design of the project, the measurement of the actual amount of carbon in your forest, both remotely and via a site visit, reporting on quantification of how much carbon you have, the verification process, so bringing a third party out to check on all of that carbon that we say that you have in your forest. We issue credits attached or via the carbon registry that we're using, which is Vera, for our improved forest management project. And then we also sell the credits. So we do everything from start to finish. Some of the benefits that we offer for joining or enrolling as a member in our program, again, are the annual payments that are guaranteed every year. We have a lot of forestry expertise within the company that our landowners have access to. This includes harvest flexibility and support and oversight during harvest when needed. Our payments for our program typically start at around $10 per acre per year, but these do fluctuate depending on your forest type and productivity. And again, we have a lot of support both from our sales side and the forester side, just to help manage all of those complexities of being in a carbon program, both during enrollment and after enrollment. As far as eligibility, to be eligible for our program, FCW Conserve, you have to have 40 acres of forest. It has to be privately owned, and you do have to own your timber rights. In addition, we also require you to enroll all of your forested land. Also, we are available, our program is available in the entire continental US and Southeast Alaska. And all forest types qualify for our program as long as your forest is old enough and big enough, 5 inches in diameter, a minimum of 15 feet tall. We are not particular.